Welcome back to High School DxD Anime Review, special number 4. This I'm reviewing the 15th light novel of the light novel series, which is The Dark Knight of Sunshine. Yep. This book, like book 13 and 8, is a series of short stories, but would also have present-day narrative. Two of the stories are essentially focused on two of the character series. One is entirely a flashback story, which they set up one of the present day stuff of how Aniko first met Reyes. It's a pretty well told story. It picks up like right after her mother's death, basically deals with all the prejudice she has to go through. Eventually she meets Reyes and then becomes her queen. She becomes the first recruit anyways, become part of the organization. Kiba is basically just kind of what he's up to. Yeah, where he's out of town with Reyes at dealing with a dispute with vampires. I should note, though, in the present stuff, Reyes is nowhere in the book at all. She's referenced, but she does not make a physical appearance. The only time she shows up is in the flashbacks. Yes. One of the stories even has the church trio, which is Irina, Zenobia, and Asha, go out shopping. And during the course of shopping, at one point something gets a little expensive, so Irina uses Michael's credit card. The Archangel Michael's credit card. Yep. And at the end of the story, they consider getting Issei a gift. Probably because they all live with him. Yeah. It's a nice little story. They also have some of the present stuff is quite interesting as well, where they actually are considering LaFay Pendragon, the sister of Arthur Pendragon, the present day character, where considering her to be Issei's magician. She's considered to be a candidate, but can't exactly fully commit to it because of her past connections with the Chaos Brigade. She did eventually become it. But I'm not going to say how. I'm going to find out for myself. Yep. And also we have this thing where we have two other characters aside from Kiniko and Revel who want to sit on Issei's lap. In the first part of the book, Aniko sits on his lap, and that's kind of how it sets up the whole past with Aniko. Yeah, this is one of two stories focused on her. Yeah, the flashback with this other one where she invites Issei to this research institute to meet with her father, of course, give him a lunch. Of course, he can't be tags on because he wants to. And not only give her lunch, but give her father his lunch. But also, then do something really weird. Dress up as a dominatrix and basically convince him to send her to college. Yep. She wants to go to college and she kind of convinced him to be a dominatrix. I don't know why she decided to do this for, but she did. There's also one point where Gasper is basically trained to use missiles for some reason. Yes. And who's in charge of this particular place? Azazel. Yep, apparently it's a brand spanking new facility, which apparently Azazel was surprised they found out about it. Aniko found out probably because her father probably told her about the place. Yeah, but it's a nice little story. I like where it's going. Basically, the other person who sits on Issei's lap throughout most of the story is Zenobia. Yeah, she sits on Issei's lap, and it's also an argument about with Kiniko because she's always sitting on his lap. It's like, his lap is independent territory. What is up with these girls and wanting to sit on Issei's lap? I mean, first it's Kiniko, and then Revel basically wants to sit on his lap too, and then all of a sudden Aniko sits on his lap, and now we have Zenobia, who actually sits on his lap for almost the entire book. And as for Issei himself, with the exception of that one story where he travels with Aniko, he does virtually nothing this whole book at all. He's mostly just relaxing at his pool, having a conversation with LaFay Pendragon. Revel's in the book a little bit, not very much. Yeah, she's in there for the stuff related to the contract for magician. Aside from that, she's not a part of the book. This is also probably the only book where, outside of flashbacks, Reyes is nowhere in the book at all. Ross Weiss is in the book, and she doesn't do anything at all. Yeah, it seems like half the characters who has appeared in the series at this point don't do anything or don't show up at all. Yeah, that's the thing for it. Issei's parents are pretty much, from what I can tell, they're referenced, but they don't show up at all, which is not surprising because they don't play a role in a lot of the stories when it comes to this particular series. Yeah, they barely play a role. They're mostly background characters, and they're just basically they're just basically have memories altered to react, not have an overreaction. Something like when their house gets magically remodeled. hmm Yeah, and of course we also have characters who show up just to. We have Kiniko's older sister and Chris Pendragon, where they show up just to hang out in Issei's pool because they feel like it. hmm This overall is a pretty good book. I mean, it's not as good as Book 13, but it's still a pretty interesting book. I love the present day stuff. None of the stories are terrible per se, but it's kind of weird though. Now in the case Book 13, despite back being a series of stories, it still at least had Issei take part in the stories. This one, no. Yeah. hmm Yeah. Now as for the place in these stories, the Magician's story that's taking place between books 8 and 9, the Scarlet Crimson one, which is about Aniko, that takes place before Volume 1. Yeah, this the short story about going to the Holy Land, that takes place between Volume 8. Training stuff, that's the one with Aniko takes Issei and Gasper to this facility between 10 and 11. Wolf's Emblem, yeah, that takes place between volumes 12 and 13. The Kiba one, that takes place before volume 1. The insert episode takes place after book 14. Yeah, that's the Presne stuff. This overall was actually a not bad book per se, but it's a bit of a step down from book 13. Yeah, which that was also the series of short stories as well. But this one didn't have like a present narrative, this sort of bookend in between every story. Now, if this particular book, now in the case book 13, this one was partially adapted to the anime. If this one 14 was, they probably would do this one they probably do it as a side series, as basically I guess it's kind of a series of anthology stuff. They might just have it where, I mean, the book itself is only about 6 chapters with these bonus flashbacks. Excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me. There's enough material in this particular book to take up a full 6 episodes if the people who make the series want to, which is a series. The company that makes the series now is Passionate. The original company, they stopped making it because the writer was unhappy with season 3. So that could explain why he shopped around for a while before eventually finding Passionate. And from what I've heard, and as I heard this from one of the commenters, they actually were told to read books 9 and 10 before actually adapting them to the season. Now, in the case of this particular one, this one I could definitely see as part of season 5, but here's kind of the thing. I think probably season 6 at this point, where I think that season 6, in my honest opinion, now I think that starting with season 5, they should probably increase it from having 12 episodes to 24. Bones has no problem putting out 24 episodes when it comes to My Hero Academia. Why in the world with this series, why does this one have trouble putting out more than 12 episodes? I don't really get a why. I mean, I'm sure for a fact that for some animators, that they're basically, that how stuff is made over there, it's kind of, they're put in terrible conditions. But you can at least have it where, like, after they do like 12 episodes, they get like maybe like a 2-week break and then resume the series 2 weeks later without any problem whatsoever. That is something that, just my opinion, they should probably do it. But if they did 24 episodes, I would probably suggest just adapting, 11, 12 definitely. And I would definitely have 14, actually no, I would not have technically 14 adapted. I would have 13 and 14 adapted. Yeah, that's basically how I would have it. Well, if you want to, I definitely think 14 would be enough if they do 24 episodes. I think Star Wars Season 5, they should increase to 24 episodes, but have it where after they do the first 12 episodes, have it where they take at least a 2-week break, so at least give the people who make the show give them some rest for 2 weeks, and then resume the show. Mm-hmm. Yes. Give the show at least a 2 week break, not like the way it is Attack on Titan, where people have to wait about 5 months between episodes. Don't do that. Just give a 2 week rest, give these people like a break, and then put out 12 more episodes. Yeah, make it a 24 episode season. It wouldn't hurt. It would not hurt the show if they do that. No, but my guess is when the dub comes out for this stuff, they probably, and this is my honest opinion, they'll probably still, like, because Funimation is one who does this particular show, they might just wait a few weeks, because that's basically their how they do stuff. Like after anime, which they have license to do dub for, after the series airs 3 episodes in Japan, that's when they start doing the dub. And it starts, the first episode of the dub for the series airs like 3 weeks after the previous one ends. That's basically how it is. I would also like to see a potential for seeing more OVAs. I mean, Passionate could do an OVA if they wanted to. It all just depends if they want to do it. I would probably take one of the stories from Book 8. Like, do like they Book 4. Take one of the stories from either Book 8 or Book 13 and adapt that into an OVA, because those 2 books have potential to be episodes for OVAs. Book 14, I would not do a series of OVAs for, because that could still make a good chunk of a good block of episodes for a season, because you also have a present narrative to it. Yep. And what rating do I get this particular book? I'm gonna get this book roughly a 8.5 out of 10. I give it that rating because it's a bit of a step down from Book 13, which is a really amazing book anyway, despite that being a series of stories. But yeah, and plus also my other negative about this book, I kind of had the same negative about Book 14 as well, was the fact that Reyes doesn't take part in defense at all, and I think maybe with Book 16 she may take part in defense again. Who knows? Because it seems like the past couple books, outside of flashbacks, she's done nothing. Yes. One thing I also got praised about this particular book is the fact that Ashley does not get kidnapped again like she did in the last book. Yes, she got kidnapped for the 3rd time, but that was a minor thing. Yeah, I hope that the writer, I'm not sure how it is with the other books, but I'm hoping that for the remaining 10 books for this particular series, that Asia stops getting kidnapped. She's been kidnapped 3 times. I know in Sailor Moon they've had the same character kidnapped twice. Yeah, in the first 2 arcs of the series in Sailor Moon. I hope this has not become a recurring trend of characters getting frequently kidnapped. As far as I know, I don't think any other character aside from Asia at this point has been technically kidnapped at this point in time. Yeah, as far as I can tell, no, actually Reyes has been kidnapped in filler episodes, but not in canon stuff. Oh no, Reyes has never been kidnapped in canon stuff. Yeah. As for Kiniko, no, she's never kidnapped before. Gasper basically has been kidnapped. Well, he kidnapped Book 14. So at least he's been kidnapped now at least once. And Rebel's been kidnapped. Asia 3 times. But at least this book didn't have any kidnappings. It seemed like this book was more like a laid-back book. Not much. There's like barely any action this whole book. It's more like this book feels like a day in the life of these characters, like right after the events of Book 14. So that's probably what the writer did. Is he probably had this character go through so much in the last book, they wanted to give him a break, just have him go on these like a shopping trip, just exploring a couple of characters' past, going to a research institute, stuff like that. Not much action. There's a little bit in it toward the end of the book, but not much in here. And no, there is no main villain for this whole book at all. It's probably like the only book of the first 15 books that has no main villain at all. Book 8 has had some villains, and Book 13 has had some villains as well. This book has no villains at all. Yep. So that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my reviews of 7 Deadly Sins and Boruto. And maybe another review of the review of Volume 16 for high school DxD if I get that done today. Okay? But until you see you in the next review, bye.